Hi everyone. Today I'll be doing a video on different data types in Access. So if you watched the previous video, I showed you how to make a simple table. Before making any other types of tables and relationships, I thought it might be better to give you a clear idea of different data types that can be used when creating a database table. So this is a table that we created in the previous video. So if we go to design view, so here I said that this is the field name, which is also the column names, and here we can show the data types of each column. So when we put this drop down arrow, it shows all the possible data types that we can put for any field. So I'll explain the most useful ones and the ones that are used most oftenly in papers or in questions. So the first one, short text, by its word itself, you can understand it has a limited number of characters, and I mentioned in the first video as well that the maximum is 255. So by default, the field size is 255 characters. But I also mentioned in the previous video as well, it is so if you know that in my case, my short text is going to be the student ID, and if I'm going to put a student ID which is only 5 characters long, I will not be needing 255 characters. It is just taking extra space, and therefore, we have to spend more on storage for this database, and that's a whole waste of money and whole waste of storage. Therefore, I can specify this as 6 or 5, or if I know what length I want the student ID to be, I can specify it there. Then student name. Student name is also very short. It can be maximum of 40. So like that, depending on what your field name is, you can decide your data type. So short text, as I said, it is up to 255 characters, but if you want to put something like a field which will take more than 255 characters, then you have the next option, which is long text. So the long text can go up to about 1 gigabyte, which is a very big amount of characters. And also importantly, both of this short text and long text are a combination of text and numbers. So these are like the most two main text types, and then we are moving on to numbers. So here when you put number, and here in the field size, it automatically sets to long integer. So if you click here, see there's a downwards arrow, and if you see, we have byte, integer, long integer, single, double, replication ID, and decimal. So first of all, byte. Single byte number is named byte. So the range is 0 to 255. And most importantly, remember that bytes can only be used as positives, not negatives. So moving on, we have integer. Integer is the 2-byte number. So, and also it can go from minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. So 32,767 is 2 to the power 15. Right. Next we have long integer. A long integer is 4 bytes. So the range is minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion. And also remember that decimals are not going to be shown in long integers, whole numbers only. If decimals are entered, it will be rounded up. Right. So next we have decimal at the very end. It can be either positive or negative. And the maximum total number of digits supported by Access is 28. Also, if you put decimal, we have to specify the number of decimal places, because if you check here, the decimal places, it says auto, when you put the drop down arrow, it shows 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to specify. So that's decimal. And then if we go back here, which is double permits large numbers. You can use the double setting if you need a lot of decimal places or like very large numbers. It stores numbers from 0 to 255 characters. So basically stores numbers from minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. And also it can go up to 15 significant digits. The previous type of numbers, which is this long integer, this is a tip that you can use. So use long integer when you create a foreign key to relate to another table's auto number. So for example, this is my student table. So for example, here instead of short text, if I put auto number, right now they don't allow me to do it because I have entered data already. But if I change that to auto number and I create another table called subjects, which shows the student ID and their subjects that they do, then so this student ID will be a foreign key in the subject table. So because if this was auto number for the student ID as a primary key, when you create your subject table, you need to specify the data type as long integer instead of auto number, because it cannot be added automatically. Right. So I hope you guys had a brief idea as to the most important data types needed. I mean, if you go here, there are like a lot more, but and datetime, there's nothing very important. I mentioned in the previous video how you can specify your datetime. So here, datetime, I showed you the different types of dates that can come, general date. So this is like the type of date, and these are like examples as to how it will be shown. And then for example, if it's a price, like for student table, I put something as admission fees. So here it's as it's a price, we can select currency, right? And then currency also, you can specify the number of decimal points you want to see. And here under the format, you can see this is the general number. So the general number means the number that you will be entering. And if you select currency, it will come up with the dollar sign and only with 2 decimal places. Then euro also only 2 decimal places. Then if you want it as a percentage or scientific, any way you like. So there's a lot of options. So yeah, I think these will be the most important types of data you will need to know for access, and I hope you understood the lesson. Thank you. See you again.